Hello, this is Alan again with another video on the a built-in function to the ECL or Enterprise Control Language. This particular one I'm doing is normalize. There's a couple of variants to normalize, and this first video I'm doing on it is the simpler of the two variants. It's very much like project. The only difference being really is that the transform, you can vary the number of times the transform is called for each record in the input data set. So whereas with project you have a one record, one call of a transform unconditionally, here you've got one record but you can call it n times. That could be generated at constant at runtime or compile time. So really the only difference between project and normalize in this variant is this extra parameter 3 here, which in my particular example here is saying that I want to call this transform 3 times for this particular input record. I've only got one input record in my data set, and I'm going to pass it the input record plus a counter for the number of times I've called it for that particular record. As I say, just using a very simple example, my input is just a seed date, and my output format is the input seed date, the counter, and basically a new date calculated off the seed dates plus those number of days offset. The transform's identical to project transform, no differences there. Output format specified, the name of the transform, input format, and the counter. So I would expect from this 3 records output with 3 separate dates calculated off this seed date. So let's give this a whirl and see what it does. There we are, 3 records, same seed date. That record's has been presented to the transform function 3 times, and 3 dates have been calculated off it. Just to prove that, well, let's do it for more than one record, just so that we don't have such a simple example. I would expect 6 records now in the output. Let's submit that, 2 different seed dates. There we go, 6 records with 3 sets of dates calculated off the 2 different seed dates there. I'll just leave it up for a few seconds so you can take it in there. That's about it for that variant of normalize. There's a particularly good example of the use of normalize in the programmer's guide that you can access off the documentations tab of the HPCC's official site. I'll put a link into the video comments. Their example is quite clever. They've got 1,000 surnames and 1,000 first names, and they generate 1 million first name surname pairs for test data out of those effectively 2,000 records, and that uses normalize. I do recommend you read up the programmer's reference. I learned an awful lot from it when I first started, and as I said, there's a very interesting example of the use made of this format of normalizing it. Anyway, I'll do the next variant in the next video. Cheers, bye.